All right, now that we've gotten the introduction out of the way, let's start building up how we're going to use these, use Unix in order to submit and work with our assignments. So I'm going to talk about all the basic Unix commands that you're going to need. Of course, there are way more Unix commands and a lot more power to the Unix shell than what I'm going to be able to present here, but I'm hopefully going to be able to get you through all the basics. So for this, you'll be able to succeed in this class. Yeah, so Linux, you can get this fancy GUI, graphical user interface, but every system admin I've really talked to and pretty much real programmers, they'll use a command line. I mean, sure, there's a couple of good GUI IDE users out there, but I've learned the shell is usually the best tool to handle everything. In GUI mode, you can activate it by activating a terminal window. Depending on your UI is how you'll activate it. Again, I will close this window because we don't need it. So up on this one, I have a little button. Wow, it's hidden right now, but you click on it and you get a little window. Sorry guys, I know it's confusing, but I don't use borders, so my window has no borders. It's just going to float around, and I will be able to move it around. You can think of it as your control panel in the system. It basically allows you to do whatever you want. There. Gives you a control prompt. Let me explain to you what this is. Quest is the username. The @ is just to delineate between the username, and then Shiloh is the name of my computer, and then colon to delineate, I'm going to tell you where you are, and tilde means that I'm currently in my home directory, and $ means you are not the root user, you're just a standard user. So that's what all that means right there. And then you can type in what you need to do, like I'll change directory into 315, and then I can do ls to give a listing of all the files that are currently in that directory. All right, I highly recommend you do it on your own box. When you install Ubuntu, you're going to want to run this command to install g++ make, then gdk valgrind into newplot, because we're going to use all those tools. If you try and type in a command and it says command not found, that means the program wasn't installed. If you use Ubuntu, or a Debian-based system, there's a program called apt, which is what goes out and installs the program. You don't need to load up a web browser and try and install it. Make sure you use apt. In CentOS and Fedora, it's called Yum, or they use Yum instead. And there's other ones that'll use stuff like Pacman or Portage or whatever, but the two big ones are apt and Yum. You are allowed to SSH over to Xion, which is a machine behind you in H207 that has everything set up. When you are outside of the network, aka from home, you SSH by using this, and you'll have to log in with your computer science CSU username and password. Ooh, not your CSU username and password. For those of you who don't know, the network here is completely separate, and when I say separate, I mean physically separate than the CSU network. We have a separate internet connection and everything. Keep in mind that since it's running back there, we have an ups, but if the hurricane hits us, it's going down. So it's going to go down from time to time, and I'll try and keep it up. All right, text editors. So this is going to be your primary tool for coding. You probably are used to this. You may have some, bias or what you like already. Make sure you do spend some time this week, sit down and try a couple of different text editors to find which one you want. You all used IntelliJ in OOP, I'm assuming. What did y'all use in procedural? Was it Atom or whatever you wanted, Notepad++? Or? It was Visual Studio. Oh, it was Visual Studio. Okay, wow. All right. So this will be a bit of a jump, but that's fine. I'm going to use, of course, Linux ones. All the ones I present have an OS X or Windows clone that you are more than happy or free to install. Linux, of course, has numerous choices. I'll tell you right now, when you go online, please excuse some of the people. They are very adamant about their text editors and will tell you why yours is terrible and you should only use their editor from now and forevermore. And yes, I am literally just talking about editing text in a terminal. I'm not going anything beyond that. People get really, really into it. I'm a VI user. So I like it because it's lightweight with a high, but it does come with a high learning curve. It's a very, very fast editor once you learn it. So once you learn probably about 20 or 30 commands, you'll be able to start editing code very, very quickly, and you'll probably see a lot of that in this class as I edit. The main thing about VI that makes it very unique is you have two editing modes. One is insert mode, which is what you're used to when you're doing Notepad, where you're typing things out using the arrow to move around. And then you have command code, getting a little annoying. Command code mode, where you jump out of insert and you use key commands to do things like cut these two words, paste them down here, take this paragraph, mark it, move it over here, jump down, so forth and so on, all these different little things, copy, paste. And I'll be able to show you that when we get into it. But the other nice thing I like about VI is it's always the same on every machine, which is actually my favorite aspect of VI compared to everything else. When I go to a new machine, I type in VI, it is always the same. The key shortcuts haven't changed. No one's changed shortcuts because you can't change the shortcuts. It's the same way. So yes, it is old though. It came from the 70s or 80s. Emacs, on the other hand, is the giant gorilla, or I guess how many cannons are on that thing?
Enough.
I don't know, man. Talk to an Emacs user. They'll say, no, it needs more facing the other way so it can shoot both ways without having to use recoil or something. Maybe it'll be a circle. These guys, Emacs is a giant machine. It can take a while to load depending on the situation. But it has a keyboard command for everything you want to do. If you want to do something, you just have to find the 5+ keys that you need to hold down at the certain position while trying to put it down, and it'll do it for you. Unfortunately, it's not always the same on every machine. Depending on which version of Emacs you use, it'll have different keyboard commands, so it does change. But it will do everything you want. And no, that tank does not exist. Sorry, guys. That is definitely photoshopped. Nano, on the other hand, is probably the simplest one. All the commands are at the bottom of the machine. So let me go and do a VI. I use Vim. So, I'm sorry, I'm in VI. I have to I can't just type anything. Whoop, I did right there. I have to hit I, and notice when I hit I, what happens down here? I'm in insert mode, so now I can talk or type. And then I have to hit escape in order to do something. So I'm in command mode. I hit colon and Q, bang, in order to quit without saving. So it's a little weird at first, but once you learn all the commands, as I show you, it'll get easier. I'm not going to load up Emacs because it kind of frustrates me. But Nano, the beautiful thing about Nano is you're back in insert mode or the regular text mode. And if you forget what a command is, the commands are down here. That caret stands for control. So if you need to exit, you do Control X and it exits for you. So the nice thing about Nano is if you forget everything else and you have a complete, your brain just cannot work, Nano will work, and it's also the same on every machine. So those are probably the three big ones. Yes?
Question of opinion, why do you prefer using Vi and Nano basis? Is there some advantage using Vi?
Yeah, Nano, this is all you can do, down here at the bottom. VI, the number of commands that you can do in editing far exceeds what Nano can do, and I'm a way faster programmer in VI than I am in Nano. I'll show you a bunch of that. I don't have time to go through everything today. I could spend like multiple courses about why VI is awesome, but I'm not going to do that because we're going to talk about data structures. All right, so I showed three of them, but there is one very important thing about all these editors. Please learn one. I know Nano's easy, but don't be that guy. Actually learn a text editor you like so you can be a solid programmer. I had one guy that just refused to do it, and he was slow, but he'd still get the job done, but his productivity was definitely way down. Even VI or Emacs are going to help you with coding a lot more than Nano. You can use GUI versions, so GVim, Graphical Vim, Xemacs, Graphical Emacs, gedit, like WordPad, but now it's in Linux. Atom, you've probably used Atom Sublime. Those are two other editors you can look into. Kate's another one, T, Jed. I could keep going on and on and on. You can just look up text editors, Linux, and it's just gonna explode in your face. I just went through the 3 major ones. Some of y'all have probably used Atom, so that's fine as well. Okay. Whew. I'm getting tired of talking so much. Any other questions? Comments? Screams? Man, y'all are not talking much. It's gonna be a long class.
Monday.
Monday at 8? Yeah?
Yeah.
So you have Atom and Sublime up there. Does that mean we can use Visual Studios also?
Please do not use an ID. It's going to, I don't even know if it's actually going to all work. No, it'll work because you'll have to hook in the make file. It's only going to cause sadness. Don't use an ID for this class. Feel free after this class, you can come to me and say, I absolutely despise the CLI, I can't believe you make me do it, and I will never touch it again. I'm okay with that. You can go ahead and do that, no problem. But make sure you go through, use the command line for this course, and then if you never touch it again, that's okay. There's plenty of good programmers that don't use the command line. I just think less of them, that's all. That's all there is to it. Any other questions? All right, great. Let me pause the video.